Hello everyone. Today we're examining how digital literacy goes beyond technical skills, its ideology, and a cognitive social practice. Let's dive in. Practicing ethical AI use, source evaluation, digital identity awareness means acting as a responsible, informed, critical user of technology, not just a passive consumer. With ethical AI use in mind, I analyzed WordPress, YouTube, and Spotify, revealing distinct compositional and rhetorical strategies tailored for multimodal, public facing asynchronous communication. These platforms function as unique mediums shaping how information is delivered, accessed, and consumed. Across higher educational platforms, WordPress serves as a tool for integrating scholarship and multimodal content. Its flexibility allows students to move beyond passive consumption to actively shaping their digital identity while meeting rigorous academic expectations. Students navigate complex digital landscapes daily. The analysis shows that artifacts share a unified digital grammar, despite their differences, and contain core logic for how they engage their audiences in real time. Structure is important. They use chunk sections of information and rhetorical strategies essential for organizing digital content, aiding navigation, and integration with a variety of audiences. Multimodal artifacts work because they mirror how our brains naturally process information. By layering different sensory inputs, they move away from just delivering a message to creating an experience. They use approachable, audience friendly language, a tone that is conversational, accessible, supports participation. Also, the use of visuals like speech bubbles assists with comprehension and engagement. To make teaching norms negotiable and persuasive, instructors must move beyond simple rules to using cognitive signposts that act like a roadmap. For diverse audiences, these signposts signal not just what to do, but why it matters for their specific context. WordPress relies on dense paragraphs, which is great for deep dives, but it can be overwhelming. That being said, this artifact is primarily used for academic and professional audiences, so I plan to use scaffolding to make it a little more accessible. YouTube's use of rapid cuts and animation is really engaging, but cognitive overload can be demanding for some users simply because YouTube targets a broader demographic audience, focusing primarily on visual storytelling and non-linear reading practices. Spotify relies entirely on sound cues, excellent for storytelling, but insufficient for instructional clarity. Listeners engage in conversation, however, it lacks the visual interface, creating a rhetorical situation focused on tone and voice. To put it simply, its root is oral literacy. When evaluating rhetorical effectiveness, YouTube's visual sequencing and WordPress's hyperlink agency demonstrates how these artifacts guide a user's cognitive journey through a blend of pacing and choice, enhancing the impact. Observing how these platforms use algorithms, my blog will explain ethical writing with AI, teaching students to evaluate tools rather than just using them for efficiency. As Bork argues, interfaces are not neutral containers, they are the instructions themselves. Remember, digital literacy goes beyond technology. It's cognitive, it's rhetorical, and political. My project will focus on ethical writing practices. Students aren't just using tools, they are making decisions that carry weight. Smart design emerges through collaboration. Agency is shared. AI, as a neutral co author, influences creative direction. So, to write ethically, students must understand that digital content has cognitive origin, persuasive intent, and political impact. To ensure accessibility for marginalized populations, I plan to use a plain language, mobile friendly design to eliminate barriers. Unfortunately, for some users, their smartphone is the only reliable device they have. Unfortunately, systemic barriers exist. Noble and Benjamin's term, the new Jim Code, describes how technologies reflect, reproduce, and encourages existing inequity. Noble proposes shifting towards a design that deliberately acknowledges and dismantles algorithmic oppression. Therefore, digital literacy is more than just basic technical skills. It requires critical thinking while addressing the social and political aspects. Technology shapes how we communicate and interact, making digital literacy a set of social practices, not just technical know how. Users must be taught comprehensive digital literacy to navigate safely, ethically, and efficiently, teaching them to critically examine how tools work, who profits from them, and what biases they contain moves education out of the ivory tower into the real world, ensuring that those most impacted by algorithmic oppression have a true seat at the table.